Welcome to the new first-timers panel. We have 528 folks registered. This is a record. Woo, yeah, give it up, give it up. So while we're gonna get started in a few minutes, so if you have your Whova app, if you can go to this session, there's a quick poll. We'd like to know who you are and how many conferences you may have attended. And most importantly, what's one word that describes how you're feeling right now, right before the conference? It's always an interesting answer to that. So we're going to get started according to my data watch in 1 minute. And my name is Dr. Elizabeth Hawthorne, and I've been with WiCyS from the beginning. I'm currently with Northeastern University in their new Arlington, Virginia campus. I'm a professor and graduate program director of cybersecurity. So I'm boosting their cyber offerings. So I'm going to make a shameless plug right now. When you come to the career fair, which starts tomorrow, stop by and see us. We're booth 129, okay? Northeastern University. We offer online cybersecurity programs. Okay, 12:30. Everybody find the poll in the Whova app? Yeah? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Wow, got lots of thumbs up. Excellent. Okay, we're going to get started. Okay, we're going to do welcome and introductions, and please keep working on the poll. And that picture up there is my golden doodles. So you'll see that in the photos on the Whova app. That's Kayla and Kiki. I call them my cyber doodles. They always go with me. They're always bugging me when I'm on my computer. Okay, so what we're going to do is just start here with Meg. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Meg Pexa, and I am a technical recruiter with Sandia National Labs. We do have a booth. We're going to be in booth 404. To remember that, it's like the error you get when you can't find a website. So come see us tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina McIntyre, and I am a director with KPMG's Cybersecurity and Tech Risk Practice, and I'm here from Seattle. This is my third WiCyS conference.
All right.
Hi, I'm Rita Mitra, and I'm a faculty at the University of Texas at San Antonio, and I'm also the faculty advisor of our university's WiCyS student chapter. And I first attended WiCyS in 2020, the virtual conference, and I've been attending ever since then.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Spann. I'm a graduate student at Tennessee Technological University in Cookeville, Tennessee, and I am the president of our student chapter there.
Oh.
And this is my fifth WiCyS.
Hi, my name's Deborah Barnes, and I'm filling in for Mike Zachman. He is the VP of Zebra Technologies, and I work under him as a principal information security engineer on the vulnerability management team. I've been at WiCyS since the virtual in 2020. I missed the 2022 conference because I had just had a baby, but I've been 2020, 2021, 23, 24, so this is, I think, my fifth one as well.
Wonderful.
And we have a career fair booth 418, so come visit the zebra herd.
Okay, excellent. And Deborah, a special thank you for pinch hitting right at the last minute, because Mike's plane is somewhere circling the United States. I'm not sure if he's even in the Texas airspace. So thank you so much. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is I have a little song I wanna play. It's called Dear Younger Me. And we're gonna have to see a few commercials. I apologize. So I'm gonna skip as soon as I can.
Number one,
Eating
breathe.
cheese, skip. There we go. Oh, it's not showing, it's just showing the slides. Sorry about that. That's all we can do.
Dear younger me, where do I start?
fall, then you could be one step ahead of all the painful memories still running through my head. I wonder how much different things would be, dear younger me.
Okay, so it's a great song, and you can look it up. It's about 3.5 minutes. So we're going to go to this question next, but before we do that, what I'd like to draw your attention to is 3 t-shirts from the conferences, and I happen to have all the other ones in this bag. So if anybody wants to look through history of t-shirts, I have them here. But this one here, the green one, is from the very first conference in Nashville, Tennessee in 2014. This one was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 2019 before the pandemic. And in 2020, we had a virtual conference. We have a shirt from that too. And this, everybody should have this shirt from Dallas, 2025. Okay, so Meg, what advice would you offer to yourself as a first-timer at WiCyS?
So I'm going to use this platform as a shameless plug to give a little bit of resume advice. I'm a recruiter, so I look at resumes all day, every day. And a lot of the ones that I look through with early career individuals is that they use their college email address a lot. So as you get further and further along in your experience in your career, your skill set becomes more and more valuable to people like me who are searching for you. And we keep your resumes on file for, forever, pretty much. So the thing is, if you put your college email address on it, it's going to expire after you graduate. So I won't be able to find you as easily. So my recommendation would be to put your personal email address on your resume. Make sure that everything is spelled properly. You're going to be handing out a lot of resumes, I would imagine. Make sure everything is spelled properly. Make sure that it matches your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date, because you're going to be doing a lot of networking. So make it easy for people like me to find you in the future, whether you're looking or not, because you are going to be able to be a great benefit to people like me. And also, if you're not looking, then you're going to be able to help me network and perhaps find one of your colleagues, a friend who's in a job rather, who's in need.
Sabrina, your advice.
All right, so my advice, and I'm thinking back to when I was kind of in your place 2 years ago, then I was honestly not prepared for how large and exciting this conference is. I don't really know what I was expecting, and I was simultaneously overwhelmed and very energized. So I guess in sharing that was my experience, just kind of preparing yourself for take advantage of all of the opportunities of this conference, but also have that compassion for yourself if you need a quiet moment, if you are kind of just overwhelmed or just need a moment to reset, that is okay too, because you want to make sure that you're bringing your best self to all of your networking interactions and opportunities. So just kind of keep in mind for that social battery so you can pace yourself and make sure you have a great entire conference.
Okay, great. Next, Rita.
That is great advice. And on the other side of the coin, I think what I would have told myself when I first came is to get outside of your comfort zone just a little bit. You've already done that by being here. So congratulations for just taking the step to travel here and get set up. Yay. So now that you're here, just realize that a conference is connecting people from different areas. So we've got industry folks here, we've got instructors, we've got students. Think outside your normal cohort, and perhaps, in my case, I'm faculty, so this is my chance to talk to industry to try to bridge that workforce development gap to see how we can work together to help students become employed. For students, you can meet students from other universities or community colleges, from other student chapters, and make a bond that way. you can talk to these industry professionals and find out what you need to do to make yourself a more attractive employee with such tips as Meg has shared. So take this opportunity to talk to other people. That's my advice.
Okay, Catherine.
So my first year, I jumped in feet first as a first semester freshman. That was my first WiCyS conference, and I was terrified. So I think about looking back, I would tell myself to be confident, because you're here to make connections and you're here to learn. No one is expecting you to have all the knowledge. This is one of the most welcoming and inclusive communities you will ever find, at least in my experience so far. And that is a great feeling when we're all just here to learn together and grow together and support each other. And knowing that now, it's just so encouraging to see a bunch of new faces every year and know that I'm gonna potentially help you all learn, you're gonna help me learn, and we're gonna grow through this together.
Excellent. Deborah.
So I am a career changer. I spent 15 years in a different industry with 2 master's degrees, got another one in cyber. So I came not technical, I didn't study. And so I came to WiCyS, and the advice that I would give myself is take the tips that the people in the industry give you. To piggyback on Meg's tip, create an email address that's just for job hunting. So then emails don't get lost in your personal email address, you know, and you put that on your resume. So then everything's organized, right? In cyber, organization is extremely important. So it helps you to build your brand better. And also just go to the career fair, go to the growth hub. People are there. We volunteer our time because we want to help people grow and talk and network. I have found at my previous job, I met a woman at the airport, and she ended up interning for my company because we had an internship, and I said, hey, why don't you apply? This seems like a great opportunity for you. And she applied, and then she got hired on full time, and now she's on to her second role, you know. And talk to people, talk to whoever. We are all here. We are, you know, you have women lifters and you have women pushers. We are all lifters here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Great. Thank you, Deborah. Before we go to the next question, I'm checking in on the Whova app, and I'd just like to share a couple of the words that everyone said when they described how you're feeling at the moment. And I did it as a word cloud. And as a word cloud, you know, the most prominent word is the biggest, and that is excited. And we also have super excited. And then we have another pretty big word, but, you know, nervous, anxious, okay? Not a problem. And I think somebody is honest and said they're hungry. I'm hungry too. So all those are wonderful feelings, validated feelings. Okay. And if you're just coming, please go ahead and answer the poll questions of Whova app. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Beth,
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm going to jump in for the hungry comment.
Oh, absolutely.
Another recommendation for the organized lunches. You do have to make sure you're there on time so you can eat. So make sure that you plan adequately for that, because they will put your plate down and then they'll try to take it away. At least they have in the past. So
That's probably the best piece of advice you will have today. Thank you, Sabrina. Okay, so who I have here, Meg, Catherine, and Deborah are going to answer, what has been your favorite moment or moments at any WiCyS conference in the past?
I volunteered fast to ask this one, and I'm glad that you just talked about the word cloud, because the nervous thing really lends itself well to this example. I think it was the first one that I went to, and I met somebody who I ended up hiring as a postdoc when I worked at my last national lab, and she was very obviously nervous whenever I met with her. And over the next few months, you know, we were able to get to know each other, and I got to know her more as a person, an actual human being, and not just a resume and a placement. And it was the very next year at WiCyS. It wasn't several years down the road, but the very next year I saw her again and she was almost unrecognizable. And it was really awesome to know that, and I don't know if it was just because of the new position, the new responsibilities, going into the next phase of her life that changed her, but it was amazing just to see the lights come on, so to speak. And the next WiCyS event that she was at, she was confident and she looked taller and her shoulders were back. And it was a really amazing thing to behold.
Okay, Catherine, our student. If you could silent your phone, we'd appreciate that.
So I think some of my favorite memories from the past few WiCyS conferences that I've been able to go to have really happened in between the amazing keynotes that we have and the workshops and all of the scheduled events. Is just getting to talk to people is just so incredible to me, because everyone is coming from different places, and it's led to some really good friendships for me. I met a pretty good friend my first conference, and years we would meet up here at WiCyS, because we lived in two totally different places in the country, but we'd meet up here at WiCyS every year. And now I get to kind of keep track of, see what she's doing, see what she's up to on Instagram and LinkedIn. It's really cool to be able to connect with folks like that. So I'd say that was probably my favorite memory, meeting her.
Great. And Deborah?
So my favorite moment was probably last year, because I actually got to accept a job from the company I work for now. And there's one person in the audience who I've known since my first WiCyS conference, and I would be very excited to see her every year, because Mike and I had worked at a previous job together, and I was working very hard to get back into his herd. And so I got to see this woman last year and know that I was going to be working with her. So that was probably my favorite moment.
Okay, excellent. Yes, I have a conference buddy. No matter what conference I'm at, we always seem to find time to have dinner or lunch together. And I never see her any other time. So it's kind of cool that way. Okay, so before we go to the next questions, I'm going to give you some statistics from the Whova poll. And this is the question about how many conferences, and any conferences, have you attended before this one? And 94 of you said this is your first conference ever. So you're in good company. Okay, next question, 3 and 4 we're going to combine. And I have Sabrina, Rita, and Deborah on this combined question. So question 3 is, how do I make the most out of my time at the conference? And what advice can you offer about making the most out of networking opportunities at the conference? Let's see, Sabrina.
All right, so this is my consulting mindset coming out here. Have a strategy, have a plan. So the conference has so many different opportunities, you're not going to be able to be in every place at once. So make sure that you are clear on what your personal goals are, because they can be very different from the person sitting next to you. So if you're here to earn CPEs, you're going to want to attend as many CPE eligible talks as you can. But if you're here as a job seeker, you're going to make sure you're wanting to prioritize your networking opportunities, your resume reviews. So having that clarity will help you make those decisions of where to spend your time. And that's also going to be a great conversation starter that you can use of, hi, introduce yourself, and I am here to blank, introduce yourself. I'm here because I'm interested in looking for a job. So having that clarity will be able to help you network with that clarity and kind of be able to lead with that.
Okay, Rita?
That's absolutely so true. All of that is so true. Know your goals ahead of time. And then I would say, in addition to, I'm sure you're all planning out your lineup in Whova. in addition to that, leave a little bit of time for randomness. Just random meetings, kind of like Catherine was talking about. Those random meetings can change your life. So don't feel like you have to overschedule or even schedule to the app. You want to use the app, definitely, but leave time for just random meetings with other students, other faculty, other industry partners. It will really be beneficial.
Great. And Deborah?
And I would say I understand that everybody in the audience is not new to cyber, or, we have people at different levels, right? And so for the people at different levels, go into the talk and that, because the committee worked really hard to make sure we had talks for every level of people in the industry, from first timers all the way up to, senior levels. I was very adamant about the workshops addressing all of that. But go in and say, what can I pull from this, right? What can I pull from this workshop that is going to help me in my role right now, or help me get to a new role, right? And also, if you're trying to get into like a workshop and you don't make it, that's okay. Be flexible. Oh, I wanted to go to this thing. Flexibility in cyber is extremely important because things change on a dime. I promise you that. And so with that, I lost the question. Oh, how do I make the most out of my time? Also, with the networking, you never know, and when you go into the career fair, I know there's people looking for jobs, but understand that the people that have career fair booths, there are some jobs, but there's thousands of people here. We don't have jobs for everybody, right? But the point is to network and to build that relationship, because something may come up and somebody says, oh, I met them at WiCyS. I think they'd be great. Let's reach out to them, So build those connections, because people like to work with people they know, people they trust, and people that impact them, right? So network, that would be, and that goes back into the networking opportunities, and network any chance you can. Just go up and say, hey, let me scan your badge. Let's connect on LinkedIn, this one woman I know, I saw a job and I sent it to her and I said, apply. And she goes, well, I don't know this person. And I said, are you connected with her on LinkedIn? Yep. Reach out to her, tell her you're interested in the job. And she got the job with the company, because she had connected and met her at a different conference. But she got the resume seen, right? So that's my advice, is just build those connections and seek out meeting people.
Okay.
So if I can, sorry, Beth,
Yeah.
I'm going to build upon, because
Okay.
in the spirit of networking, one of my favorite kind of icebreaker questions that it's applicable kind of wherever is, if you're wanting to do a conversation starter, ask, so what brought you to the conference? Like just that, what brought you to the conference? And then that can open so many doors.
That's a great suggestion, and you kind of read my mind, because I'm going to call an audible like I warned you guys. So what if I'm an introvert? I don't like to network. I'm afraid to network. Does that question help? Should I lead with that question if I'm an introvert?
Well, I identify as an extroverted introvert, so I've had to work on these skills of, oh my gosh, how do I start conversations with people? So
Okay, great. And I think there's a great panel or some kind of session on I'm an introvert. How did I learn how to network? So I think there might be a few introverts, if not a lot, in here. I identify as an introvert as well, so I recommend that session. Okay, before we go to the next question, I'm going to give you an update on the poll. It's my job here. Okay, so this is a question about, are you attending this conference on a scholarship? So 71 of you said yes. So we're so happy that you are here and we're able to attend through a scholarship through our conference sponsors. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's see, who do I have for this one? Catherine, Meg, and Deborah. Okay, why should I attend the Career Growth Hub, which is on the same level as here, it's just around the corner, and the Career Fair, which is down 2 escalators, it's on the lower level. All right, and what are the differences? Okay, so Deborah, you had the mic, so why don't you just pick it back up?
So why would you attend the Career Growth Hub first? So people like me, I've been in the industry about 10 years now. That's one of the things I look for in my email to sign up for. I want to go there. I want to help people with career conversations or resumes or just meeting new people. I'm a 100% extrovert, so I talk to trees. But, you know, I think it's something that, to me, is giving back to the community that is this is one of my passions, not just lifting women, but lifting women in cyber because, you know, I get excited. So I talk to people. So not only can you get assistance with finding a job and making sure your resume, you know, is attractive, but also you can network and meet people there. Career fair, like, there's definitely really good swag. And
Trolling
Zebra,
for swag.
I was very selective with the swag. I picked it for Zebra. I was very selective. I wanted things to be meaningful to people. So the swag is awesome, but also just you have an opportunity to visit so many different companies in person and to get your face in front of them. So just going and what does your company do? What do you guys do? And just take some information. You know, hey, I'm gonna look. I like these people, and you know, they seemed like they had a nice group of people there. So I'm gonna go there and meet with them, and maybe I'll look for jobs with that company. You know.
Okay, Catherine, our student.
Yeah, like she said, the Career Growth Hub is an awesome place to go get feedback on your resume, get some interview tips and practice there. And if you're having any worries like about job or interview searches, just talking to people who have volunteered their time to help you is so nice because they are willing to answer all of your questions if you have, you know, any concerns at all. As far as the career fair goes, it is a great resource to connect with companies. Thank you. It's a great resource to connect with companies because there are very few times where you get to talk to people face to face right now whenever you're job searching or internship searching. And this is a great opportunity to connect with people face to face, one-on-one, and really talk to them and get to know them.
Okay, Meg.
So with regard to the career growth, I love talking. I get unnaturally excited when I get to talk about resumes and interviewing. And one of the things that we did whenever I was in grad school is, I don't remember what the class was, but we were doing mock interviews, practice interviews, and I didn't realize how frequently I said just in my natural language. Now that I realize it, I notice it in everybody else. So whenever I'm interviewing people, I'm like doing, ticking whenever they're saying too much, right? So I love giving that advice. Videotape yourself whenever you are doing your practice interviews, because you would be surprised at how many extra words you say or how many times you tick, whatever. I notice that I close my eyes when I talk a lot, and it looks condescending whenever I do it. I don't mean to, but I didn't know that because I don't watch myself when I talk. And then with regard to the career fair, just like everyone else was saying, it's the opportunity to network. I cannot put too fine a point on how important it is to network. If it's for you right now, if it's for you in the future, if it's for one of your colleagues in the future, it is always a good idea to meet with people and build these connections now because sometimes you're planting flowers or planting seeds, and sometimes you're cutting flowers. It's just as important to do both. So make sure that you start planting those seeds now, because eventually you might need to cut those flowers.
Great advice. Thank you. What I might also underscore is the Career Growth Hub is open, I believe, at 2 o'clock today. So you might want to check that out in the Whova app. I think it's also open a little bit later tonight. Don't hold me to that. But you want to go to the Career Growth Hub first before you go to the career fair. So see if you have a little time in your schedule to even just walk through and just see what's going on there. Okay. All right. Before we go to the next question, I have the results of our last question. And those of you who have come in a little bit later, there's a couple poll questions in the Whova app if you'd like to answer those. So this is the last question, and it's about who are you? Okay, so we had 9 different choices, and 37 of you identified as undergraduate students, 24 as graduate students, 1 faculty member. Ooh, okay. There's no recruiters in the room? We got some, okay, all right. Got a recruiter up here. We have 6 military personnel or veterans or spouses of veterans. We have 3 government representatives. We have 45 business and industry representatives, so they're probably looking to give out internships or jobs. And 27 are other. They weren't quite sure that they fell in any of those other 8 categories. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question. And I have Rita, Deborah, and Meg on this. So we'll have Meg, you had the microphone before. Okay, so what tips, Meg, can you offer for finding, connecting with a potential mentor at WiCyS, whether formally or informally?
So I think that WiCyS does a really good job of providing information of the attendees prior to the event. So something that I would definitely recommend is doing some research on who's going to be attending, who's going to be speaking, or things of that nature. What companies are going to be here, and just do a little bit of research. Look at someone's background, kind of get an idea, is that a career path that you could see yourself taking? Above and beyond that, once you're actually at the event and you're at these sessions and you see a speaker whose story resonates with you, basically find somebody who has what you want and try to connect with them. Try to make a personal one-on-one connection. I heard somebody else mention it earlier about, with the world that we live in now, everything is very disconnected. We're all online, everything's virtual. So this is one of those rare opportunities you get to meet with somebody in person and make an in-person connection. So if you have the opportunity to do that while you're here, that would definitely be my advice.
Okay. Is that Meg or Deborah?
Am I? People
Oh,
on
Rita,
that list?
sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep.
I'm going to take this opportunity and use a debating technique to slightly go back to the introvert question, but I'll relate it to the mentoring question. The introvert question, I would say both introverts and extroverts sometimes feel like they don't belong. We just deal with it differently. So I'd encourage you to use this conference to kind of confirm that you do belong. We're all a supportive group here. You will feel more confident the more you reach out. You'll understand, how much you do know. We kind of assume that we don't know a lot of technical skills, or, we don't have what it takes. But actually, every single resume I've looked at, every single person I've talked to, you're far underselling yourself. So I would just say on the introvert and extrovert scale, just reach out, because you'll feel better about yourself, honestly, because we're all here to support you. So then on the mentorship, on the formal mentorship, I'm going to pass that over to you. On the informal, if you have a student chapter, your faculty advisor is a good mentor. And then additionally, I just add, think about what a mentor is. A mentor is not there to give you a job. A mentor is there to help you cultivate a community, a board of advisors, if you will, some sort of sounding board to help you know your path, or to help you answer questions about what you want to do in the future, and sometimes to help you get closer to a job. But that's not the only reason you have a mentor. So think about why you want a mentor, and then create these relationships to find not just one, but several that fit different categories of what you need.
Okay, Deborah.
So WiCyS has a really good mentorship program, and it opens once a year, and we have monthly meetings. This is my second time as a mentor, and this time I am co-mentoring with a previous manager of mine, a male. And so we get to talk with different types of experiences to help our mentees with growth and with the experiences they're going through. Because really what a mentor does for you is help you work through what you need at the time, right? They may have opportunities that they can say, hey, why don't you look at this? Why don't you look at that? But they're not going to hand you a job. And the expectation that if I get a mentor, they're going to get me into their company doesn't always work. Sometimes it does. But look for somebody, like they said, that is where you want to be, and understand their story and how did they get there. And I think I also want to plug the sponsorship program as well, is that as you get up in your career, there's maybe things that you don't need to be mentored on, but you need a sponsor, somebody who's going to speak your name when you're not in the room, right? And find somebody to fit that bill. I have a sponsor. I have a couple of them, but having that person that can help you grow. Like there's a woman at my work now that's a senior director, and I meet with her once every 2 weeks and just talk. How did you get there? Are these things, and understanding how roles change as you change, right? And as your position in the company changes, there's different expectations, right? At every level. So mentors can help you work through what you're going through, or give you advice. Yeah, I'll review your resume and take this out. Nobody needs to know this. This isn't important anymore, right? Keep it to 2 pages. But also for those of you that are first timers here, but not entry level, look for that sponsor.
Okay, Sabrina.
So I am looking at things from the industry perspective, and mentorship. I have been so hungry for mentorship at different phases throughout my career, and it's been challenging at times. So I've kind of had to get creative at times of finding a mentor. And that has looked in different ways of just asking to do those coffee meetups with coworkers or people that I would meet. And it can really be as simple as like, I'm really interested in your career path. Would you mind meeting me for like a half-hour coffee chat? That's kind of how you can do that soft intro to a mentorship. And if that person is super busy and you don't feel like you can ask for their time to have a follow-up, that's okay. That goes to kind of Rita's point of have multiple mentors. It's not about having like one golden pedestal mentor. Find yourself multiple people that you can go for advice that you respect, and you can ask questions. So when you're finding somebody that maybe you have a coffee chat and they resonate with you, ask if they have time to meet with you again in 6 weeks or quarterly. Nothing like too demanding on their time, but 6 weeks or quarterly, that's perfectly acceptable to ask. And then I'll share another way that I've had to get creative at times in trying to find a mentor. You can have a kind of a distant mentor. And what I mean by that is somebody perhaps you haven't met yet or spoken to, but on LinkedIn. If you admire them, admire their career, look on LinkedIn, what certifications do they have? What was their degree in? What roles have they had? And you can almost break down from a distance what their experience is. And if you do that with multiple people that are holding the titles that you want, you can see for yourself if there's a pattern. Do these people all have the same type of certifications or experience? Do they all participate as speakers at conferences? And you can also kind of help get that type of information that hopefully will help at least encourage you along your career until you're able to find a person that you do have that more personal connection with. But that's like, if you're really struggling to find somebody, you can still gain that type of career experience even without speaking to them.
Okay, great advice. Okay, before we go to panel question number 7, I see we have a question through the Whova app from Crystal. And her question is, how do first-timers get invited to the evening socials, like ISC Squared? Does anybody know? Do you just go? Anne Breen, can you just go to a social?
Socials are open to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, if it says invite only by invitation, you can't go. But if it does not say invitees only, you're welcome to join the social. Okay, good question. Okay, next panelist question. What should you do if you want to attend multiple presentations that are happening at the same time? And inevitably, it always happens that way, right? So who do we have up on that? So Sabrina, you had the mic last, so why don't you tackle that one, and then we'll pass it to Rita and Deborah.
Okay. So make your peace with not being able to do everything you want to do. This kind of goes back to what I've started to say, so you'll start to pick up some themes here. Have a plan, be prepared for your plan to change, but have clarity on what your goals are. Because if there's multiple things happening simultaneously, maybe you would enjoy going to both, but do both equally serve your primary objective? What is that goal? And hopefully that will help you have the clarity of, okay, I should go to panel or workshop A because that serves the primary objective, but I'm disappointed that I can't go to panel B, but that's okay because there are so many amazing things here and I just can't do them all.
I know, I'm presenting Saturday morning and I'm like, I wish I wasn't presenting because I want to go see a session. So I don't think it would look good if I didn't show up to present. So is Rita, are you up next, I think?
Yes, thanks. So 2 tips. One is to, if you know someone, to split sessions with them. You go to one, they go to another, you report on it. Maybe you have a Google Doc to where a few of you are just going to sessions and reporting on them. The good thing about that is you can take it back to wherever you're from and share that Google Doc with everyone. So, and the other one, I forget what the other one is, so I'll just pass it along. Maybe
Multiple presentation?
Is it you?
That's okay. Deborah? Oh, I'm sorry, Deborah. Didn't hear the question, sorry.
So my experience with this is I look at the presentations and I schedule my agenda ahead of time when I'm calm and not rushed and what do I need to do. Probably a week or 2 ahead of time, whenever it comes out, I schedule it. But I look at it and I say, so where am I at right now and what do I want to learn about? And the one that trumps gets picked, right? So, something I'm working on right now is work-life balance and burnout, right? And trying to avoid all that. So that to me is, I'm like, I need to attend all those talks. And, then my next topic I want to learn about, that falls to the next level. So if there's a competing topic, I'm going to go to the one that I want to learn about first.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. Go for it, Rita.
Sometimes it helps to read through the entire description and also the biographies of the speakers. That will help you make a decision. Often, even today, I made a decision based on reading through the entire description and also looking at the bios.
Okay, it's nice when you remember in time, right? Yeah. The other trick I've done is I've split the baby. I'll go half to this session and then go out and see the end of the other session. So that's another strategy you might want to think about. Okay, all right. Okay, question number 8 for our esteemed panelist. How do I maximize my chance of attending a workshop? And I believe we have Rita, since you just had the phone, and then we'll go to Sabrina.
So this year is different because in prior years we were reserving our workshops. So this year they're first come, first serve. So the obvious tip is get there early. Get there early, make a commitment, and make sure you get there. I'm going to guess, we'll all see how it goes, but I'm thinking 15 minutes early, stand in line.
Okay. Sabrina, the strategist, what do you recommend?
I'm going to recommend kind of what I've been saying is have a plan, have your priorities. If you have a workshop you have your WiCyS heart set on, prioritize that, get there 15 minutes early, or if it's like the number one thing you want to do, maybe a half hour early. We don't know how it's going to go this year. So that's kind of make your own prioritization. And if you're going to say, well, maybe if I get in, that's fine. If I don't, then that's fine. Sure, show up 5 minutes early. But yeah, have your priorities. And if it's important to you, show up early.
Excellent. And Deborah has some sage advice here.
The other thing I wanted to say is there are levels for the workshops as to where it is, but don't let that hold you back. If you're like, I've only been in cyber, I'm a beginner, and you don't make it into your first choice, go to the second one. You'll learn something, and it may increase your growth a little quicker within what you're doing. So don't think you're going to go in there and somebody's going to make you, decipher bits and bytes and code, completely, right? You'll pick something up. So don't be afraid to go to different level workshops.
Great advice. So have a choice 1 and 2, I guess, is what you're saying, Deborah. Okay, we'll go to the next question, number 9 of 10. And I believe Catherine and Deborah are on this one. So Catherine, as our student, and probably the youngest one up here, how do I best utilize the conference app, Whova?
There are so many things you can do in the Whova app that we use for this conference. You can go through the entire schedule for the entire conference every day of the week that we're here. You can add those to your own personal schedule. That won't affect anyone else. It's just for your personal, just to keep in mind that this is what I want to go to. This is my plan. And like others have said, that plan might change. You may put something on there and it's, in the evening and you've been going all day and you realize that, oh, wow, I'm really tired and I just need to take a breather. And that's okay. You can absolutely do that. The Whova app is also a great way to connect with others that are attending the same events that you're attending, the speakers of those events, and just everyone here at the conference is pretty accessible through that app. So if you have contacts that you want to make, go there, find those people in the little contacts list that we have. There's also a floor map for the career fair, which is very nice. So you can see some of these lovely people at their booths that they gave you the numbers for. And just clicking around on that app, you can find other things like forums and polls, and you can answer questions before the actual workshops and speakers start their events. And, oh goodness, I have one more thing. What was it? I know.
There's so much that app can do.
It's contagious.
We got an app for that, right?
Well, if I think of it, I'll come back to it.
So I love the app personally. I do want to say that, like, you don't have to join every community and read all the different memos. I know I get like, oh my God, there's 7,000 new comments in the community. What am I can't go through all that, right? And so go through those, and there's a search box, right? So search on the topic that you want, like maybe, I'm part of WiCyS Chicago affiliate. So I want to go to the WiCyS Chicago affiliate event, so I just put WiCyS Chicago, right? But also, I just found out, I don't know, maybe y'all figured it out earlier, but if you click on your picture, there's a whole set of different options that you can click on, and you can, go to a contacts list, right, as opposed to using the attendee, and you can create a contacts list for yourself. You can bookmark people. You can create a group and use that to communicate throughout the conference, right? So those are some things that I've found very valuable within the app.
Okay. There's one I want to mention. You can upload photos. So feel free to take pictures and upload photos, and people can like them. And is there a prize, like who gets the most likes or something like that? I don't. There's some kind of prize. So use the app. You might win something cool. Speaking of the app, if you've come in recently and you haven't checked in on the app, I have a personal goal of having 500 people at this session. Call me crazy. We're at 442. So if you haven't checked in on the app, we need a few more people to reach that 500 goal. I told the chair of the board, Janelle, that we're going to have 500 this year. And there looks like there might be 500 people in here, but we need verification as cyber folks. So if you haven't checked in on the app, I'd appreciate that. Okay, we're going to move to our last question, and then we're going to open it up for any questions from the audience. And this is going to be lead off answer by Meg. Toward the end of a presentation, most speakers leave time for question and answers. What should I do if time runs out and I did not get my question answered?
So what I would do as an extrovert is I would go track that person down and ask them my question.
Hunt you down.
Yeah. That's why I make myself that's why I peacock whenever I come to these things, is so I'm easy to find if there's, questions or people just want to connect or something like that, right? But yeah, so that's what I would do. And I mentioned this earlier, that WiCyS does a really phenomenal job of making sure that we're all able to connect with one another before, during, and after this event. So if you are unable to find somebody after their talk, it's always a good idea to look on the Whova app to try to connect with them in another way. But again, and I mentioned this earlier too, really go above and beyond to try to get some face-to-face, one-on-one time with that person while you are here. There is nothing better than some one-on-one, face-to-face human being time when you're not worried about connections or, setting meetings or something like that. So try to really jump on the opportunity if you can.
Okay, I think Deborah, did you want to weigh in? And then if we have time for anybody else after Deborah.
So I've, with the presentations, I've actually, during the presentation, I either, look their name up on LinkedIn and just connect with them, or most of the time they'll put their connection info at the end of their presentation. So then you can either connect with them on LinkedIn, take their email address, or, however, there's probably some other social apps that I don't use that they may be on. Maybe their Discord channels up there or something. You connect with them on that. But don't be afraid to pose your question. You can even connect with them on the Whova app, right? And send them your question. Hey, I was at your talk. I really enjoyed it. And I didn't get a chance to ask you, but I wanted to, understand what you meant by X, or can you provide clarity for this? But don't be afraid, I missed my chance. I can't ask it. It's gone forever. No. We're all here because we want to be here, and we're all here because we're supporting each other.
Right. And you might think of a question after the session's over, right? Sometimes I'm walking around like, oh, darn, I wish I would have asked that. So connect with us through the Whova app. Anybody else want to weigh in? Rita?
Just kind of related to this conference, when it ends, you'll have a ton of information in your head. And so this is a tip that I don't do. So please consider what I should do but don't do, which is take all those notes and information and just set aside time to follow up on it with your questions or with connections or whatever. That's like the post-conference work that we could probably all be better at, particularly me, but just set aside that time. That'll help.
Okay, great. So I just checked how many people have signed in, and we have 20 more people, so we're up at 462. So next year we'll have to shoot for 500. So I hope to see you next year at the conference. Maybe not here because you won't be first timers, but tell your friends to come. And so now we're going to open it up for questions. And Elisa, is it? Are you going to run the mic for us? Yep. Okay. I just pressed her in the service. So what questions do you have? Don't be shy, you introverts. Okay, we got over here. You got to run fast. Can you just repeat? Could you?
You're at the career fair, should you have a physical copy of your resume, or just making that connection is good enough and then sending the resume later? Because I'm sure you're going to get lots of paperwork you don't really want to take back and whatnot.
That's exactly right. And I'm a hippie at heart, so I don't like all the extra paper, which is why it's important to have your LinkedIn profile match what's on your resume. So you'll see me, if you come to the career fair, I will have my phone out zapping QR codes all day. And plus, it's a really good way, too, for me to be able to reach out to you, not only directly after the event, but also ideally in months and years to come.
Okay. Any other questions?
I was just going to comment.
We got one.
I was just going to comment real quick on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
We have lead generators, so we'll if she said that, we scan you. So I don't want a hard copy.
Okay, we got another question in the back there. We're getting the mic there. Beautiful. I guess you push it up for on.
Okay.
There you
it
go.
is. Hi, my name is Brielle Johnson. I'd like to get my name out there. But one of the major questions I had is, I'm definitely an introvert, but I am hungry and I'd love to meet all the lovely ladies here, or as many as I can. So any other ideas of icebreakers to come and just come up and talk to someone, whether that be industry or more personal at all?
Okay. Yeah, Sabrina, everybody knows to pass you that mic. Yeah.
All right. So since I've already self-identified as an introvert over here, one of the other tactics that I use is we have these lovely ribbons that WiCyS has provided. And so take a look at those. And that's another way of looking at it of oh, you have an affiliate ribbon. Can you tell me about that? Or, oh, I see you have a volunteer ribbon. Sorry, Rita has a volunteer ribbon. Can you tell me what you volunteer in? So that's also for all of you in this room. If you don't have ribbons yet, get yourself some ribbons so that you can use them as that icebreaker. So that's probably one of those tips.
Great. And the ribbons are where you picked up your conference badge.
Can I?
Absolutely.
So as a self-described introvert, sometimes when you go into your lunch or dinner session, you can find another introvert and sit next to them. Yes, and you'll be introverts together and have some great conversations.
Okay, Deborah. I love all this. All these introverts are talking. I love it.
So the last thing, I'm not an introvert. I'm a complete non-introvert. But I love introverts. I have a mission in life to pull them out of their introverted ways.
Thank you for being on the panel.
But what I wanted to say is when you go in for lunch, it's a big room with lots of tables, and don't be afraid to sit with people you don't know, okay? Because you may have a group that you're with and maybe there's not a spot, but go sit with other people. Nobody cares. Come and sit. You know, if there's a spot that, you know, somebody went to the bathroom, we'll let you know, hey, somebody's in the bathroom, they have that spot. But don't be afraid to sit with people you don't know.
Okay, great. Any more questions? Okay, we got one there. Beautiful. Love it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Imelda. What's one piece of advice you wish you had gotten earlier in your career in cyber?
Extrovert.
Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. If there's something you want, if you want a promotion, it ain't gonna be handed to you. You have to go and advocate for yourself and say, this is what I wanna do, how do I get there? Because just because you've been at the company for a certain amount of time, someone's not gonna be like, I'm gonna promote you. Because they got, your manager's human and they have tons of things on their plate, and they may ask you, what are your goals? But when you're ready for it, advocate.
Okay, and Sabrina, you want to add one little thing and then we'll call it?
Sure. Career advice. Learn how to be comfortable in saying if you don't know something, but saying it in such a way that you're not diminishing what you do know. Because learning is continuous no matter what stage of your career you are in. So if you are confident in saying, that's an interesting question, or that's an area that I'm not as strong in, but I'm learning, like that will also give you the confidence, because don't diminish the great experience you do have. But if you have that skill, then you won't be afraid of situations where you don't know something, because you'll have the confidence of how to respond and then how to continuously learn.
Excellent. So can we all put our hands together and thank our wonderful panelists? And there's a sign out there that says WiCyS. So that's how we pronounce it, WiCyS. And it means We Cyber Sisters. You remember that, We Cyber Sisters. Enjoy the conference, ask us questions, come up and talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Take care.